Hey, folks. Hey, Sanjeev, how are you? Just watching NVIDIA stock move around. Closed at 223, went down to what, 217, then went up to 226. Now it's right back to where it closed. Violet, how are you? Hey, somebody's on from YouTube also. Hey, how about that? Good deal. Good deal. All right. Okay. People are coming in slowly this afternoon. All right. Yes, much better today. Yes, today was a good day. SPY was up $6.66 today. 669 down, 671. It's moving around because of NVIDIA. And NVIDIA, let's see, 222. So it's just a hair below where it closed. And I did some research. About 50% of the time, it's a coin toss. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down after earnings. But this is good, right? The initial drop does not surprise me, and then it went up. I bought 100 shares before the close, and then when it went up to about 226, I sold like 80 of them. So I hung on to 20 shares. We'll see what happens here. All right. It's like NVIDIA doesn't know. Well, that's what happens, Frankie. That's what happens. Like literally every stock, when it reports earnings, does this. It's like a convulsion. You know, I saw it with Bloom Energy. I saw it with Google. Google was crazy. It was swinging like $20 or $30 in each direction for like 15 or 20 minutes, and then it starts to settle down. My guess is it's probably going to move up from here. If it, if it's not down, that's a good thing, right? So technically it's down just a bit. I think it closed at what, 223.47, and now it's trading at 222.92. So literally it held its own. All right. So I see we've got a number of folks join in. What about SBSW? Okay, you can see my screen, right? So let's take a look. SBSW. I don't know what SBSW is. Okay. Well, looking at this chart, this is not impressive. But let's take a look at the 180-day chart. Well, that's even indecisive. So let's take a look at the 1-year chart. What has this stock done over the last year? All right. So it started the year at 503, and now it's $12. It was up as high as 21. So I mean, if you're looking at it long term, I mean, the stock has doubled in 1 year. It's been fairly volatile, all right. But the earnings they had back here, March 25th, something like that. They didn't go down, so I mean, they're holding their own. So you can't argue if a stock goes up over a period of time. Now, quite frankly, you know, you can see this chart. I would rather be in a stock that kind of looks like this. All right, let me just pull it up. This is more of my style of chart. All right, where there's no big gaps during the year. All right, this is Carpenter Research, CRS, and I bought into it. I have been delaying buying back into it, but I bought in this morning. Actually, I bought into that. I bought into uh, ETN. I bought into like another four different stocks this morning that I just thought were poised for a run up. So, all right, so that looks good. All right. Yeah, your stock. I mean, it was up 50. It was up. It doubled in value during the year, so no complaint. I bought 100 shares of Nvidia before the close, and when it ran up to, it hit a high of 226. I bought them right around 223, right at the closing price. I bought about 2 minutes before it closed, and I sold 80 of them and made, like $3 a share on about 80 of them, and I'm still holding 20 shares, right? And right now it's a little bit, it's almost back to where it closed. So, that's okay. I made some quick money, all right? Yeah, we got charts back. The reason we have charts back is because I switched. I'm not going live through TikTok Live. I'm going live through a third-party product that is called Streamlabs. It lets me stream on TikTok, X, and YouTube simultaneously. So I'm streaming to all three. And if I wanted to, I could stream live to, I don't know, I forget the other service, but there's another one I could stream live to, right? So we'll see what happens, right? Hey, let's see what we got on the list here, all right? So we did Bloom Energy, all right? So, and IREN, all right? So Bloom Energy was up today because SPY was up. So Bloom Energy has been moving in lockstep with SPY, and Bloom Energy has been anything but reliable. I got out of it like 2 weeks ago when it got really choppy, and today it was up 8% today, and I've decided I'm just not going to. I'm going to stay out of Bloom Energy for probably a few more days. Right? Once it gets back up, I think once it gets back up to maybe 290 and it gets a little bit more stable, if it has another nice update tomorrow, I'll probably buy back in. All right. But I mean, I like Bloom Energy. I made a nice chunk of money on it a couple weeks ago when it did this. All right. Where did I buy into it here? Let's go out even further. It had a really nice run. Yeah, here. All right. I think I got into it at about 180, and I got out. It went up, and then I got out at about 274. All right, somewhere in this neighborhood. This day, it had this big drop, and I got out, and then it ran up again, but then it was choppy on the way, so I'm just waiting. I may get back into it, but it hasn't been that strong lately. You see these yellow dots here? That's like a power trend indicator. That means it's really strong, and it just hasn't had that kind of strength since then. So we'll see what happens. I would like to get back into it, but it just these days, look at this. In a matter of like a day, it went from 301 down to like 249. That's $50 share. It's a pretty big chunk, especially when you're going out and buying 40 or 50 shares, like I do. Okay. All right. So that's Bloom Energy. It went back up today, but one day doesn't make a trend. I would wait for a little bit more. I think we were up a little bit yesterday. Maybe not. I think yesterday was kind of flat. Yeah, there's the close. There's the close on Monday. There's close Tuesday. All right. So it gapped up overnight and then went up a little bit today. All right. Yeah, NVIDIA is basically where it closed right now. Okay, all right, so Iran. Iran had a good day today. I did some trading on Iran. I don't think I saved any. I didn't keep any shares, but Iran was up nicely today. It was up 10%. So let's just do we'll do the 5-day chart. Okay, you can see it had a really nice rise today. All right, and then I sold toward the end of the day. I took my profits. All right, right now I'm just being really cautious. All right. Many of these newbie traders haven't seen a real bear market. Yeah, the real bear market. Here's a bear market. You know, man, let's just zoom out here. I'll tell you, this was like that's a bear market, right? You know, like from after we had the tariff scare dip, like look at this run. From 642 up to 749. That was just huge. It was huge, and then it really got, then it really accelerated here. You know, last week, right? The beginning of last week, and then everything kind of turned to shit on Friday. Okay, so and now we're coming back. Right? So it was good. One of the guys I played pickleball with this morning, he asked me, you know, because we get together at 7:30. He said, Jeff, he said, what's the market going to do today? I said, it's going to be up, man, because I saw a lot of ETFs I had gapped up overnight, so it looked good. All right, so let's continue on your list here. I got a bunch of, so you just trade shares. Well, I do investing and I do trading. I'm primarily a trader, but I do have, if I find the right stock, I will hang on to it for a month or two. Literally, there's not much that I own longer than that. All right, it's just because I'm pretty much a swing trader. You know, now let me rephrase that. I do have, and I do have Google long, and I do have Taiwan Semiconductor long. All right, so I don't do any option trading. I would like to. I actually went to a Schwab option class, a 2-day option class, but man, they went over things like so fast, and I'm so stupid. It just it took me a while, and I even signed up for like an option an option bot, you know, and I don't have time to do it. I've got too many other things on my plate. All right, Vic, hello. All right, so let's get back to your list here. Credo, let's see here. NVIDIA, Credo, write that down, CRDO, all right. And what else here? RXT, sure. Do you trade options? NVIDIA, SATS. I'll tell you, man, I bought Rocket Lab and RKLX last night, right? And I bought a lot. And the RKLX is the 2X. And also I put Rocket Lab in my retirement account. So my goal is to hang on to it long, right? So, all right, Sippy. Oh yeah, I have Chippy long, CHPY. I got it at a really good price. Do you have Rocket Lab long? Yeah, I do. All right. And the only reason I have it long is because people smarter than me just swear up and down that Rocket Lab just has all the makings of a stock over the next 2 or 3 years that could go tenfold. Right? Hey, is there a SpaceX launch tonight? I saw them wheeling out a rocket, and I can see the SpaceX launches from my house. And today, there's not a cloud in the sky here. Oh, holding, huh? Right, so, yeah, I'll have to check it. All right. NBIS, I'm writing that down. Light had a bad day. It was up, and then it really faded during the day. Yes, so there's a SpaceX launch. Maybe I'll send my drone up and try to get some aerial footage of it. Okay, Google. Oh, man, Google. Google's down right now, and I have no freaking idea why it's down. You know, it was down from 403. What did it close at? Like 385 today. I have it right here, 384. Fortunately, it moved back up, so it only lost a little bit today. All right, ServiceNow, Intel, I got that. AVEX, AVEX. All right, I'll do that. All right, so what do you think about AVEX? All right, I'm going to get to it. So I'm going to do Credo, RXT, SATS, Chippy, AVEX, NBIS, Lite, Google, and then ServiceNow. And I traded some ServiceNow today. All right, I think I did okay. All right. Now, Dell started to come back today, fortunately. All right. QQQ, the Qs. All right. Yeah, I have QQQ and I have QQQI in my retirement account. And this is their brand new and most redefined rocket yet, IPO June. Okay, cool. All right. All right. So let's do this. Credo. I've been talking enough. All right. Yeah, we have somebody viewing on YouTube simultaneously also. Okay. So today, Credo was up 8%. Nice day. Nice day. It had all of its gains. It gapped up, it looks like, here. So it had a decent gap up overnight, but really it made its gains during the day. So that's great, all right? And then it faded in the afternoon, but still finished up 8%, right? $14 a share, that's impressive, right? This looks poised for a continuation, all right? Definitely, I was looking at the big chart earlier, you know. So it had to dip down, and finally we've got 2 strong days coming back, and it's trading above all 3 of its moving averages, which is great. All right. RXT, Rackspace. You know, I have been paying attention to Rackspace, and I'm kind of glad I didn't, because all these wonderful gains it had, it's given them all back in the last 1, 2, 3, 4 days. All right. So. This is not good, all right? Anytime a stock drops below its 200-day moving average, you know, that's bad. You don't want to be in it, you know. Look at soon as it dropped below the 200-day moving average, look what happened. Boom, boom, down again, down again, down again. All right. So you know, that's like a real bellwether, that 200-day moving average. Now you can trade off the 10-day moving average. See this white line I have here? The white line, the 10-day moving average, you know, for the stocks that I day trade, I pay attention to the 10-day moving average. This is not a good example because it just stayed right on its 10-day moving average, but some stocks are really good to trade against their 10-day moving average. Right? I was trying to figure out which one was I trading today off its 10-day moving average. You know, maybe it was AMD. AMD was up nicely today. It was up 8%. Right? And if I zoom in, yeah, no, that's not a good example either. All right. No, because it was like staying it was staying in lockstep with its 10-day moving average. All right. So not a good example. All right, we'll get back to that. All right, RXT SATS. I'm going to guess that SATS had a good day if Rocket Lab had a good day. Yeah, it did. 3.87%. Because they kind of moved together, all right? Even though SATS really doesn't make satellites. From what I understand, and I did Google, I did go on Grok about a month and a half ago, and SATS, I guess they own a bunch of satellite communications bands, and they licensed a number of those bands to SpaceX. So that's why they are going to benefit when SpaceX goes public, because they own a percentage of SpaceX shares. You know, and from what I read, if they didn't own SpaceX stock, people said the stock would be in the tank. The only reason people are buying it is because of the relationship they have with SpaceX. But you can see this stock's all over the map. You know, I mean, look at it here. it's been in a power trend, but it's up and then it's down, then it's up. This is, and it's not a dramatic shift here. What, like 120, 122 all the way up to like 147. Now it's down. I'm going to guess as, if it can hold this, but the problem is it tends to give stuff back pretty quickly, right? If I look back at this, right? It'll run up and then give it back, okay? It ran up here, gave it all back, had this huge dip, for like 2 months, then ran up again, then gave it back, and here's another cup, but there's no handles. I see a cup here, but no handle, all right? I mean, I guess you could call that a handle, but not in the classic sense. That could be a handle, but look how quickly this deteriorated, once it got up to like 137. Now it did peak at 145, but now it's what, 141? I don't know. Maybe it'll take off, but it's too choppy for me. I'm gonna steer clear of it. I'm just going to do my best to see if I can get some SpaceX shares when Robinhood sends me a thing. Do I want to try to get in on SpaceX? I'm just going to reply and say, yeah, I want $150,000 worth, and see what they allocate to me. All right. Chippy was up today. It was up nicely, up 4.37%. All right, which is good. All right. So, and of course, Chippy is the one that pays the big dividend every Thursday. So you have to own it by the end of the day on Tuesday if you want to get the dividend. All right? And for those of you not familiar with Chippy, all right, it's a yield max. It's one of the rare yield max ETFs that does not have NAV erosion. Right? You can see. I'll just zoom out. I'll show you the 1-year chart. Right? Look at this climb. Right? This has been really good. And it pays one hell of a dividend. Chippy pays, its forward dividend is 44.74%, right? And literally every week it pays 64 cents a share. So just to give you, let's just do the math here. So let's say you invested $25,000 in Chippy right now, and it's trading at 74.90 divided by 74.9, you would have 333 shares, all right? That means that every week, you get a dividend of $213, right? So times 4, that is $854 a month, all right? Times 12 is $10,253 a year off of a $25,000 investment. That's just the dividend. That doesn't include your net asset, your NAV increase, because it goes up in value, right? A Chippy is tied to a bunch of semiconductor stocks, right? I don't know the exact mix. I did Google it once, but as far as I'm concerned, 2026 is going to be another killer year for semiconductors, right? So you make your own decisions, but I have, I think I have $50,000 worth of Chippy. I'm pretty sure that's what I have. I think I got like 50K. Is that what I have? Let me think. No, I actually have I have $66,000 worth of Chippy, and every week I get a really nice dividend. On the order of like $600 a week, I think it is. Right, so not bad. All right, back to your list. AVEX, AVEX. I believe the stock had a good day, right? Oh no, it was actually down a little bit today. So let's zoom out and see what's going on with AVEX. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's not doing real well, right? I thought I knew what this stock was. I must be thinking of something else. There's my 20-day chart. Let's do 180-day. But then it had earnings. So what did AVEX do? Right? AVEX looks like it jumped big time after, yeah, so they had earnings. And it was 26.18, jumped up to 31, now it's back to 28. Okay. Hey, it's pretty good, but my complaint here is if I zoom out, right, I'm just going to go back to my 180-day chart. I mean, look at this over the past 6 months, all right? It's really faded a lot, all right? Yeah, hang on for a second. Yeah, hon, what's up? Oh, okay, all right. Give me a call later, okay? Take her with you, okay? All right. Thanks, hon. See ya. All right. How long has this stock been out? It's only been around, oh no, it's been around, wait a minute, 4. Oh, this is a new issue. It's only been around since April 20th. I can see it right here. All right, so this is not too impressive. All right, I mean, looks like it went public around 24, jumped up to 42, and it's been fading ever since. No, I wouldn't be in this. Right? Is there any news surrounding it? So they beat estimates here. They got their first report. It jumped up a little bit. So I mean, if you're in it, good. I mean, look at it. It's trading above its moving averages, which is nice, right? It did drop below its 200-day here for a while. You can see how it just started dropping. Once it gets below 200-day, they drop. Bounced off it, it again dropped, and then finally crossed over, and they had earnings today, and they jumped. Right. I mean, if you're in it, that's fine. Right. NBIS. NBIS started the day slow, and then it reminds me of when I used to run 10Ks. I used to have a shirt that said, I start off slow, then I back off. All right, so NBIS started the day slow, then it backed off. Right, it was down 3% today. I'm not going to say this is broken, but it's struggling right now. Okay, it hit this high and it's just faded from 233 down to like 193. You know, and it hasn't maintained its power trend. It's been on and off, right? So, and I could pull up this chart, you know, and show other stocks that just have a solid green bar across here that are strong. So this is it's a little bit disconcerting, all right? And from what I see here, this dashed blue line, that's 200-day. So it did drop below its 200-day moving average. Oh, you can see here, drop below it, right? As soon as it hit that 200-day moving average, boom, right, drop below it, okay? It was trading above it, and then it's down. So I'd be cautious. I'd be cautious with NBIS right now. I mean, it was a darling 2 weeks ago. Look at this, you know. I traded it. Everybody was trading it. It was high, right? And then it's just run into problems. All right, light. You know, I equate Lumentum to like a light switch. It's either on or it's off. Okay, and it has been off the past 5 days. You can see it was up to 1,085 like 7 days ago, 8 days ago, and now it's down to 873. I wanted to trade it today. I looked at it, and this is what I saw in the morning, just going down, down, down. So I never did touch it today, because there are some days you can look at this. You know, yesterday. I mean, this was my complaint about Lumentum. It's just so volatile on a daily basis. You know, yesterday morning it was 903, and then literally a half hour later it was 848, and then 2 hours later, 3 hours later, it was 906, and then it closed at 884. It's just crazy. Then it gapped up overnight, and boom, look at this. You know, when most other tech stocks were doing better, this thing was dropping like a hot rock. So, and it's below its 200-day moving average. I won't touch it unless I see, I will get in and out of Lumentum when I see this kind of trend going on in a day. But when I see that kind of trend, I really don't short stocks. If I want to short a stock, I'll find an ETF that's a bear ETF, like a 2x bear ETF, instead of doing an actual stock. Because typically, like if you went to, like, what is it, SOXL, I think is what it is, which is the 2x or 3x bear SOX. If I want to, then you short all the stocks in a market segment, right? So it makes it a little bit less volatile, right? All right, Google. So, listen, Google has disappointed me a little bit lately, but I think it's a great entry point. If you're not in Google, I mean, this is, let's go 5 days. Just look at it. It broke 404 the other day, and now it's at 384. It was down to like 380 this morning. Then it closed up at 384, which was nice to see it move up in the afternoon because most of the day it was down. Then it just started creeping up. So this is a stock, for those of you who have been tuning in for a while, we were having these phone calls 2 months ago when it was $275 a share, and it started to move back up, and I couldn't resist. Man, I bought in, and I bought GAL at the same time because GAL moves with Nvidia, and since I have bought GAL, just in my one account here, what is my GAL? Let's see, percentage wise. My GAL is up 20%, right? Literally in a month and a half, right? And I have a lot of GAL. I have like $160,000 worth of GAL, right? So my dividends are huge, right? So, okay. Let's see. ServiceNow. ServiceNow faded this morning, and then I believe it came back in the afternoon. It was disappointing this morning. Yeah, there we go. All right. It had this really nice run up, and then yesterday it fell, and today it moved up in the afternoon. Yeah, you can see it dropped overnight, it dipped, and then it kind of found its footing here and just kept moving up, the entire day. So I think ServiceNow is back. I saw some people on Twitter complaining, said, "Oh, it lost like 10% in a day." Well, it didn't lose 10%. It went from what 109 down to like 101. Well, that's 8%. That's not 10%, but still, this is a stock that's been in the tank for such a long time, right? So, hey, I noticed that Pellet really started to move up this afternoon. I jumped in because it was in the tank this morning. It looked horrible. It gapped down like overnight. I dumped my stock right at the beginning of the day, and then here it just started to move up really nicely in the afternoon. All right. So I was watching it. I got back in. I think I got back in around here. All right. 14. And I think it finished at like 1475, which is not bad. That's like 7.5%. All right. Okay. The Q's, QQQ. I actually have 3 Qs. I have QQQ, I have QQQI, and QQQM. All right. They all did great today. All right. So, yep. Okay. All right. Let's go back to the list. Get something to. Hang on for a second. All right. Okay, here. GMed. All right, we'll do GMed. I'm still watching NVIDIA on another monitor. It's flat. It's at 222.30. Hasn't budged. So I'm glad I sold some of my shares and got out. Okay, SpaceX just put out its IPO filing. I saw that. And so did, what's the AI? They filed today too, right? Okay. TTI. Yeah, I have TTI on my watch list. RDW. We'll take a look at that. Chippy versus Soxel. You can't compare the two. Okay? Soxel is like what? 12, 13%. Chippy is 40%. Like entirely different. Soxel is just a 2x ETF, all right? Or maybe 3x SOX. Chippy is, totally different structure. You should go Google it or just get on ChatGPT or Grok, all right? It went up 10% after hours. What went up 10% after hours? Soxel, all right? I have some Soxel shares here. We'll see, okay? SMCI. Yeah, SMCI would have moved with, we already did NVIDIA. NVIDIA is basically flat after earnings, which is good news because a lot of times it's down after earnings, right? But it's flat after earnings, which is I think a big vote of confidence for NVIDIA, all right? CYD, SMCI, HPQ, all right. Hey, I traded HPQ today. My wife works for HPQ, okay? INOQ. Man, no one's asked me about INOQ in a while, all right? CYD OpenAI, yeah, they're gonna go public too, right? I have your list here. Okay, we did AVEX, all right. So I got GMED, TTI, RDW, SMCI, GMED, CYD, HPQ, and INOQ. All right, that's my list. All right, let's do GMED first. Nice day. All right, up 5%. Let's zoom out. See how the stock. Let's just do the 180-day chart. Scary. Man, I had a real nice run back in September from what, like $60, $62 a share all the way up to 101. Then it just went sideways here. I look at this as just a huge consolidation, because it had resistance at $97, bounced off it, found support down here at like $87, all right? Then they had earnings and they dipped on earnings. They went from 91 down to 77, dipped a little bit more, and now they're staging a comeback. So this is good, right? This is good. I will point out here, just so you can see, here's their 200-day moving average, right? They're well below it, right? They need to get to 88. But this is nice. I mean, they moved from 75 all the way up to like 82. So that's pretty strong, right? What have they had? 1, 2, 3. This was like a flat day. Well, 3 days in a row. 3 days in a row. 3 days I consider to be a trend, right? That's good enough for a trend. So this looks good, right? If you're not in it, chances are, even though it's below the 200-day moving average, this is a big stock. It's an $80 stock. It's not like you're buying a stock that's like $1.15, right? It's a well-established company. So I think you latched on to something good here, all right? Hey, by the way, I hung up. I did buy YOU yesterday, and I still have it. Okay, it was up 3.1% today. Yeah, and I kept adding shares all day long. Right. So, all right, TTI. All right, Tetra. These guys were doing really well, and of course they faded the past couple of days. All right. But here's the good news: is they're trading above all three of their moving averages. They're in a power trend right now, right, which is good. Right. You can see, right, they were up, and what were they? They were up just a hair today. All right, So let's see if they can. Let's see if they can. What I'd really like to see them kind of break a previous high. You know, get above like 1070, all right, or 1080. You know, get up to here, and that way, you know, maybe they can go someplace. All right. Yeah, they need to get up to one of these previous highs. All right, because 1098 was their high for at least 6 months. What about a year? Well, they were up to 1254 back in February, right? So they've faded quite a bit since then. So we'll see what happens, right? I wouldn't trade it just because it's like too cheap. I like to stay $15 or over. I do make rare exceptions, you know, if something looks really good. And my BRCHF is still hanging in there. It's hardly moved since I bought it last week. I'm down $32 on the 25,000 shares I bought. So that's good news. You know, I'm waiting for it to pop. There's going to be some sort of news, and it's going to jump from 11.5 cents a share up to maybe 25 or something. We'll see. Right? It's the only really cheap stock I have. Right. So we did TTI. We did RDW. Did we do RDW? Oh, Redwire. Redwire. Yeah. Yeah. I saw Redwire had a nice day today. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, because it had been consolidating here, but listen, it's as far as I'm concerned, it's still consolidating. All right. Look at this. It got up to 1507 today and bounced off it. All right. The other day it got up to maybe 1543, bounced off it. It got up to, you know, like what? Like 1543 here and bounced off it. So it's just going sideways right now. All right. If I zoom out, you'll be able to see it. Okay. So it hit this high, but the good news is it hasn't faded off of this high, right? It's still within like a daily striking distance. You know, based on its ATR, I could see this easily getting back to 1649 in a day, right? It just needs a kick in the butt. You know, it needs a press release or strategic alliance with somebody. It needs some news, all right? Did they put out news? Let's see. Some of these companies are really quiet. Right? Oh, this is it. Voyager gets some contract from Redwire for a DARPA program. Hey, I worked on a DARPA program back in 2014. All right, inside the joint NASA proposal. All right, so hey, they're getting some buzz. All right, 746 this morning. They won a $15 million drone contract. All right, so maybe that helped this bump today, all right? I have to believe it probably did, all right? So that's good. Now let's see if they can break out tomorrow, all right? Let's see if they can really get some traction and take off. Right? I have an alert here. You can see 1528. I've got an alert. If it breaks that, I'll probably jump back in. All right? SMCI. Yeah. NVIDIA is still hanging in there, 220 a share, hardly moved. All right. Okay, SMCI had a really nice bump today. Look at this. Cool. I wonder what the deal was. Oh, it was probably just because of all the other semiconductor stocks jumped. All right. There was no news. All right. Here, I love these news. Stock climbs 9.5%. Tell me something I didn't know. Okay. This is at 4:33 this afternoon. All right. What's going on with their stock? Let's say, what are the? Is it recovering after recent sell-off? Blah blah blah. You know, this stuff is written by bots. All right. Investors also appear in position for, oh, right, everybody. It all boils back to because this would This is a sympathy play with the NVIDIA. So if NVIDIA went up a lot, this would go up. So would Taiwan Semiconductor, so would Avgo, so would AMD, so would Micron, SMCI, and ASML. They're like the six sympathy plays for NVIDIA, right? So, and NVIDIA is still hanging in there, right? Hasn't really moved. Okay, all right. But this looks good. I mean, if we could get a continuation tomorrow, which I'm not sure we can. I see that SPY dropped a little bit, but it's probably just moving with NVIDIA. All right. SPY closed at what 741, and now it's at 739. It's dropped 2 points since the close. All right. All right. GMED. We already did GMED, right? Didn't we do GMED? I could have sworn we did GMED. Maybe not. No, we didn't do GMED. Oh, look at this. This is a nice trend, right? It's trading well above its 200-day moving average. Let's just zoom out. See what we have here. Oh, coming out of this huge dip. Okay. Oh, that's right. This is the one that had earnings. Now it's coming back. Yeah, we did GMED already. Yeah. Right. CYD. What the heck is CYD? I've seen it before. All right. Chinese stock. Okay. Yep. Chinese stocks run hot and cold, right? This one's hot right now. Right? Let's see what's the deal on CYD. Let's get some intel here. All right. Operates as a holding company with interest in manufacturing distribution of diesel engines, provides hospitality and property development service. Oh, they do everything. Okay, all right. So let's kind of zoom out. They have an RS rating of 79, which is not great. Okay. I typically like stocks that are 85 or better. They had a previous high of 56.55. Now they're at 53.66. So they're closing in on a previous high. My concern, and I stay away from stocks like this, all right, that have these big dips, because I'll buy them once they break through, all right. I mean, I can give you tons of examples of stocks that just that I hear. Let's see here. Here's an ETF I was looking at this morning. All right, this one looked pretty good, all right, but it was down today. But I like it because it's got a lot of room to run, but I'm just not ready. I already have one commodity stock, or one commodity ETF. I don't need more, right? So, all right. But commodities are pretty hot right now. All right, HPQ. That's my waveforms for HP Enterprise Services. Right. And they had a nice update today. They were up a little bit, 0.5%. They've had a couple decent updates. I just like the way they've been moving, even though they've been slightly volatile. They got up here, but this isn't a lot of money. 22 is sliding down to 21. No big deal. It's like 5%, 6%. But if you look at the 1 year chart, HP looks pretty good. All right. They started off really strong, and now they're starting to make a comeback after their earnings. They were down to 17.56. Now they're at 21. So I have a small position, right? And it's one, and I did it as a promise to my wife. I said, all right, let me track their stock. So I bought a small position. Right? So we'll see what happens, because she's got a bunch of stock options. All right, INOQ. TPT Strategic Incorporated. Never heard of them. They may not pop up just because they're so cheap. Look at this, 0.00001. You sure this isn't Satoshi? Okay. Point. How many is this? 0.1234. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. Okay. All right. So in Satoshi, that would in U.S. dollars that would be 83%, 0.083 8 cents. That's what it'd be in Satoshi. I'm just joking. All right. That's what it looked like. This thing is so cheap it won't even pop up on my on the monitor here. Right. Thinkorswim doesn't really like penny stocks. All right. Okay. Let's go back to your list. All right. Let's drag some things around here and we'll continue. All right, OpenAI. I can't tell you about OpenAI because it's not traded, right? Ops. What's OPS and AIR? Are these two tickers? I'll check them out, right? SID, we already did. MNR, all right. What is that? What's the 11-cent stock you own and what are you talking about? Oh, it's called, I'm going to type it in the window here. BRCHF. BRCHF. All right. They make a very unique ASIC chip that is a self-learning, it's an AI chip. They have a bunch of contracts. They keep getting more contracts. They've been around for like 4 or 5 years. I just have a feeling they're overlooked, right? Because they popped up on a list when I asked Grok. I said, tell me all of the companies that are going to benefit from AI. And here, this company, BRCHF, popped up, and I just thought, who the heck is BRCHF? You know, it was crazy. You know, yeah, it was just kind of weird. Right? You know, it was interesting. Sorry for shouting, Rock. Right? I don't know if this still pop up, but let's see. NVIDIA, Broadcom, of course we know that. TSM, Taiwan Semiconductor, MU, Cloud Computing, Microsoft, Data Center, Vertiv, which I own, ANET, Ciena, Palantir, ServiceNow, Utilities, Constellation Energy, Seagate, Specialized Key Trends, let's see here. Let's just say, what about BRCHF? BRCHF. Let me turn the caps lock off here. Okay, OTC, right? They develop ultra-low power event-based AI processors inspired by the human brain, right? Flagship product, the Akida neuromorphic processor. It processes sensor data, vision, audio, etc. only when changes occur. So when it does, that means it's super low power consumption, right? It's basically, it's interrupt driven, right? Instead of on all the time, it waits for a signal, right? Running AI inference on, and even on-chip learning directly on devices without relying on power-hungry cloud data centers. This solves the power wall in mobile IoT embedded applications, right? So it's pretty interesting, right? So if you buy this and you make a lot of money, you know, just I'll send you my address. You can send me a check. Okay, all right, all right. It's a micro cap with significant volatility and business risk. All right, do your own due diligence. All right. So, all right. So that's what I know about BRCHF. Okay. Okay. Ops, OPS. I don't know what Ops is. All right. It's not a ticker. AAR Corporation. Don't know what they do, but they've had a pretty good year. Of course, they're in this They're in a dip right now, but look at, got a nice green bar here. So it looks like they're starting to recover. All right. Yep. All right. Down, had a nice recovery day today. All right, let's see. What do these people do? I typically know companies that have stocks that are worth like $100. So let's see what the deal is on AAR. AAR Corporation provides diverse products and services to commercial aviation and government defense. All right. So they had a nice day. They were up. They've been real volatile lately. And see this green area? That's their profit area. So they were very overextended and they've been really volatile lately. I mean, look at this. Yeah, it's kind of scary volatile. But you could look at this and say this is okay. This consolidation, they don't show it yet, but it will show up. Look at this. They're finding support here at like 103, 100, and they got resistance at like about 122, 125. So they're just kind of bouncing in this area right now. Now, oh, look at this. This is nice. You see this? See this line right here? That's their earnings, all right? Anytime you have accelerating earnings, typically the stock price will stay in line with accelerating earnings. So I expect this to move up, all right? As a matter of fact, let's have the computer do some work for us here. Let's do my tech indicators and turn on, let's find it here. What is it? Trend analysis. Well, I think I can just type it in here. Active indicators, categories, trend analysis. I don't see it here. No, it's not there. Here we go. There. Okay. Cool. All right. Well, it's only got an RS rating of 69, which is a little bit weak, right? It's in aerospace defense, but the trend is showing definitely moving up, right? Which is good, right? That's weekly. Let's take a look at it daily. Not so much. They're going to get up in this area and probably go sideways for a while, all right? In the 117 to 120 area. That's what I figured. It looked like they were going sideways, all right? And they're probably going to stay that way, right? So I wouldn't look for this thing to make any giant leaps, but you know, what is nice about this, let me turn off price tracking, is that you can see that there's some volatility. You know, they're in this consolidation, so they're getting resistance at like 125, 127, and then they find support down here at 104. So if you can get in, this is probably a good entry point right now. Look at it. It's like 106. Chances are it's going to run back up to like 121 in the next 3 or 4 days. And maybe a little bit higher and probably bounce back down and then go back up again and bounce back down. All right. So you could track that pretty easily. All right. It may show up on the chart pretty nicely here. You know, I'd have to take a look at the moving averages, but that's would be my guess, right? Yeah, they're going to bounce around. If I zoom out here, it'll probably show up even better. Yeah. So here's your consolidation period, right here, right? Find support down here, gets resistance up here, right? So it's not, and it's trading in this band, like 100 to maybe like 125, right? Hasn't broken out yet. Okay. MNR. All right, let's do MNR. Okay, Mach Natural Resources. This is real nice, right? Really nice. Yep, that's the 180-day chart. So 6 months ago they were at 14. Now they're at 15. They had this huge dip. Then they came up and then they pulled back, and it looked like they did okay on earnings. Then they just had this pullback, which was the beginning of April. Not sure why. Probably had some bad news. And then they ran back up again, and now they're pulling back. You see this? Look at, they hit 1472 and they pulled back. Now they're at like 1507 and they had a down day. So I wonder if they're pulling back. I wonder if they're hitting that. I would look for it to break like 1513, 1525, right? I'll set an alert. Right? Then I think you might be able to get in and make some money. Right? You want to catch it at the bottom of a run. That's really what you want to do. Right? So now, listen, if it pulls back again, if it pulls back to like $13 or $14 a share, maybe $13.75, you know, this isn't this is displaying, it's not a great example, but if you could see this, here's a high, here's a high, there's a high, there's a high, there's a high, and all these highs are higher than the previous high, and then here's a low, that's a low. This lower is lower than that one. This one's lower than that. So there's definitely a trend going on here. There's a trend. It's moving up. It's just kind of wild and woolly on its way up. Okay, so I mean, I would look for it to probably. This was pretty big fallback right here. I would look for it to probably have a nice jump. Hopefully have a nice jump tomorrow, and get up here to maybe 15. 20, 15, 25, something like that. Okay? Does that make sense? All right. Let me go back to my list. All right. I don't make suggestions. I don't make recommendations. I just say, this is my opinion. All right. Okay. ALAB. ALAB. What else do I see here? PRCT. Yep, PRCT. All right. Let's do those two. And then I think we can wrap it up for the day. Okay. ALAB. Well, ALAB ripped today. Yeah, I owned it this morning. I don't own it right now. I sold it at the end of the day. 15%. What a nice day. All right. Look at this. Right from the start. The whole day. It just moved up. All right. This is nice. All right. Strong after hours. If I zoom out here, the 20-day chart. Oh, that's a bad chart. Let's do this one. Yeah, look at this. How nice is this? All right, and it really accelerated past 2 days. Really good, This is definitely a super hot stock right now. Right? Maybe I'll go buy some shares after hours. Maybe I will. Let me write it down. So I'm kind of flush with cash right now. I sold a lot at the end of the day. ALAB. All right, and PRCT. That will be my last stock of the day. All right. PRCT, Procept Biorobotics. Let me do 1 year. Certainly does look different when you look at a year versus 6 months. Okay. this overall looks really bad. The only thing I'll say is that it's developing a base here, which is nice, okay? That's a base. You can see this base, right? It started back on April the 2nd, right? And here's, you can tell a base. A base has got, all right, it's got a bottom, 2167. Look at here, 2207. It dipped a little bit below that, but then here's resistance right here, all right? You can see it. A couple of weeks ago, last month, a month and a half ago, 2838. What do we see here? 2854, 2822. So it is developing a base, right? And typically what happens is it will consolidate, it'll develop this base, right? And then we'll break out of it. See, there's even dashed lines here. Thinkorswim picks it up, right? Right. It knows that there's a base developing. That's its pattern recognition, right? So I would look for it to break out. And here's the magic number right here. You see this 3166? That's its 200-day moving average. So if it breaks that, then it's going someplace, right? That's what it needs to do. Okay. Hey, listen. Thanks everyone for joining today. It was a good session. All right. Tomorrow's Thursday. For me, trash day. Trash has to go out tomorrow night. Okay. And I have the house all to myself tonight since my wife went out to see a girlfriend. All right. So listen. Have a great evening. I'm gonna go buy some. I'm gonna go buy some semiconductor stocks. How did they do today? Let's go. Let me share a window with you. All right. Boom. I have so many of these. Let's see here. Where is my semiconductor list here? That's my current account positions. My favorites. Semiconductors here. All right. Semiconductors, yeah. Who was up the best today? ARM was up 15%, Soxel 14%, Applied APLD 7.9, INTC 7.36, ADI surprisingly was down today. QQQI was down a little bit today, but everything else was pretty good. Everything else was like 3, 4, 5%, except for Soxel and ARM. So I had both of them. Yeah, ARM was pretty nonstop today, right? And I'm surprised. ARM went up, but INTC was way behind. INTC was only 7.36%. ARM was 15%, which is surprising. They normally stick together. So, all right. Well, we'll see what tomorrow brings. But hey, listen. Good luck in the market tomorrow, everyone, and we'll chat tomorrow afternoon. Thanks, everyone.